Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're anything like me, you like to watch YouTube. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know. Why would you even be here? I like to watch YouTube because there's a lot of unique and niche things and stuff that just appeals to my interest in a higher degree that I can't really find on typical cable TV networks, even Netflix sometimes. The only service that kind of rivals YouTube is Tubi in the sense that there's a lot of independent filmmakers that produce unique, almost tailored films that are built to make you laugh, but for almost every other reason than the film presents. Now, if you haven't heard of Tubi, I highly suggest you take a look at the platform because aside from their independent sections, there actually are a lot of other programming on there that's pretty legit. Like they have anime, they have Top Gear, they have other British television shows. So they're pretty well rounded as a platform. But my favorite category happens to be the Black cinema section. Now, before we get into that, I'll give you some of the pros of Tubi. And no, I am not sponsored. It's free to use for now. Small filmmakers have a platform to display their work, and as the viewer, you get to experience some pretty exclusive content because trust me, you're not going to find this anywhere else. The other thing that I actually do like about Tubi is that it gives the audience an opportunity to view the Black talent from Black filmmakers, Black actors and actresses, styles of dress, styles of speaking, and other aspects that you don't typically find on bigger platforms that are a little bit more whitewashed and polished, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I can't say these are cons, but they're definitely funny coincidences. If you go down the Black cinema section, there's quite a few themes. One, Detroit. There's just something about the great city of Detroit that filmmakers who want to make hood movies, they always base them in Detroit as if that is the only place where hood shit goes down. Second is drugs. Um, if you don't know what a drug is, don't worry because Tubi will teach you. Some of the movies are kind of step by step. So if you have young impressionable children, I would highly suggest that they do not watch Tubi because they will pick up on things very, very fast. Along with one of those things they would pick up very fast on is the amount of sex that they have in these movies. It's to the point where you're kind of like, is this necessary? Did this enhance the film in any way, shape, or form? The answer is usually no. And the other funny thing about these little nasty scenes that some of these directors like to put in the films, you kind of get the feeling that it's more for the person doing the thing as opposed to for the audience to understand what's happening. So if you feel like it's out of place, it probably is. And last but not least is the alarming amount of acid wash genes. After so many Tubi movies, I kind of have to sit down and synthesize the buffoonery that I just witnessed because sometimes it can be so overwhelming that I just have to attempt to understand what the hell I just watched. So one night I happened to be watching some Tubi movies with a certain someone, and they said to me, "How come no one wants to get a job?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?" And they were like, "Yeah, we watched several of these movies, and like, no one has like a 9 to 5." And I was like, "Oh, you're right." After they noticed that, we went down a trail of other things that these two movies seem to have in common. We have irresponsible financial decisions, we have obsession with revenge, aggressive sexual overtones, lack of education and critical thinking skills, and last but not least, making fun of nerds or people who are not caught up in the street life. Now, things came to a head for me after watching this film called Tiffany the Doll, and I will insert a disclaimer here. If you haven't seen Tiffany the Doll, I highly suggest that you do. It's one of the most accidentally hilarious pieces of art I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know if the filmmaker was intending to be serious, but trust me when I tell you it's very unserious. With that being said, I will be discussing certain aspects about the movie, so pause here, stop, go watch the movie, and then come back. Alright, cool. So, what is Tiffany the Doll? Tiffany the Doll is a science fiction film, de emphasis on science, directed by Felicia Rivers. The movie is about a new toy named Tiffany, who is no ordinary doll. It is the perfect partner, wink wink hint hint, that can fulfill your every fantasy, but you have to play to find out. Now, this movie was one of those films that was half hilarious to watch, but also equally painful to experience. So, I'll cover a couple key points about this film. Out of all the characters, only one, and I mean one person, bought this doll outright in cash. Now, mind you, this doll cost $10,000, okay, because it fulfills every fantasy, right? He was the only person that was mocked for being square, wearing a suit, I guess having manners. I don't know. But everything about him was totally antithetical to someone that you would think would be made fun of. And on top of that, they made him seem like the creepy character, even though he did absolutely nothing wrong. The other aspect about this movie, it's a killer robot, a killer sex robot, a killer robot. Emphasis on killer and robot, okay? Nobody calls the police. No, I get it. We all got a little thing with the police, and the police need to up their game a little bit. But in a fictional movie, the protagonists are not shown to have any type of special skills or ex FBI, former CIA, Navy SEALs Team 7, none of that. They're just regular people, okay? So, what were we to believe as the audience that they could take on killer sex robots? At least the police have military tanks sitting in their back parking lot on a Tuesday. The other thing that grinded my gears was that the communication between the main protagonist couple was atrocious. The main couple was a husband and a wife, and the husband works a job. So the wife, who is a stay at home wife, and there was no mention of kids, so a stay at home wife with no kids could stay in the home eating popcorn in her negligee. The wife gets upset that the husband is tired from working, so she could stay at home. And it's like, girl, just say you never had a job before so you don't know how it works. That would be easier to make that make sense. And then on top of the wife being upset that the husband is working a job so she can stay at home, somehow, some way they come into the possession of this doll. Now, mind you, it is $10,000. So if you just have a $10,000 doll sitting around in your home and you're not wondering who bought it, when, or why, guess who's going to have to work more to sustain your lifestyle? The husband who you're sick and tired of being tired from taking care of you so you can stay in the house. Okay. Now, there's so much more to this movie that just hilariously makes no sense. Like shooting a night scene in broad daylight, which did happen.
What was this?
Who's at the door this time of night?
Yeah.
Tissue, please. Oh. Hey, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. What can I do for you?
Is Mark here?
He's sleeping. What can I do for you?
But I gotta stop here so I can get into the meat and potatoes of why I'm making this video. The movie director of this film was interviewed on what I believe to be a local news channel of some sort for her contribution to Black excellence. Someone who made a movie about a killer sex doll robot was being interviewed about her contribution to Black excellence. I think somewhere along the way, we just kind of lost the meaning of what excellence means. Because at least when I think of Black excellence, or anything that's excellent, I think of maybe community leaders, volunteers, teachers, artists, revolutionaries. So colored me surprise when I see that this filmmaker was being interviewed for her contribution into the realm of Black excellence. Now, it is difficult for me to want to watch this interview again, but I will do my best to provide some of the highlights. The movie director seemed really nervous about being interviewed. She was stumbling, stuttering, and trying to put ideas of different concepts that just honestly did not go together with the question that the person was asking. As far as the interviewer, it seemed like he nor his team did any pre-review interview or pre-interview research about the person that they were extolling to be a representative of Black excellence. Now, here's my thing: just because someone does something, it does not make it great. I would hope that all of us have subconscious and hopefully conscious awareness or standards of something that makes it good or something that makes it bad, and why we have those values in the first place. So when we go around platforming culture bearers that promote non excellent behavior, it creates a cognitive dissonance, not just for the people outside the community, but for people inside the community as well. Because we are the ones doing it. We're co signing the characterization of our people. So if we look bad, we are the ones making ourselves look bad and saying that, yes, it's okay to look this bad. I don't know if my point came across, but this is what I'm really trying to say. I have an appreciation for our Black history, Black American history in general, especially seeing how we were from being slave to free and all of those terrible trials and tribulations in between just to get to 2024. And yes, we have made a lot of progress by ourselves, with allies, etc. However, there are still pitfalls that exist before us today. And the most insidious pitfall that is plaguing us is internalizing those social ailments that are meant and were engineered to keep us down. So much so, we tell our own people that they're not Black enough if they don't participate in those social ailments. Black excellence should mean something like for real. Like for real, for real. Because when we cheapen the word excellent, it devalues everyone's contribution and it keeps the bar not just to the floor, but to hell. To me, Black excellence is taking the little bit that you have and making something out of it. Maybe it's learning a new skill, going back to school, learning a vocation, learning a skilled trade, using your talents, your abilities to help you, the people that you love, your community. And if you went through trauma, getting mental health help and setting healthy boundaries between you and others to you, and just learning how to be yourself and learning how to be a person in a community, in society. And when you're Black doing those things, that's Black excellence to me. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, but I'm interested. What is Black excellence to you? And if you're not Black, what makes you feel excellent? Can I say that? Can I ask that? I already did. Oh well. Oh well. Thanks for watching. Learning a trade, what do you call it? A skilled trade. Yeah.